Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
First of all, I will brief you like how we can maintain different type of stock grant that we have. Let's see what other. I can see there are many stock grant type that is already there. Right, like ISO, NENSO or SU, right? And apart from that, they are different. This all are someone have created for a practice purpose manually. Talking about some of the standard one which is already there, like for example, it will be already available. Like for example, ISO and SO or SU, here we have an option. If in case you want to delete anything, right, it cannot be drilled. If you can see already in the usage. If in case the stock grant type is not used in that scenario, we can delete it, or else we will not have an option to delete. Like for example, you can see this has 0. It is not used. This shows the availability of the plant. Talking about the stock grant type, I am talking about the type. You can see here it is, the users count is 0. That is the reason why you are getting an option of symbol as minus, right? By this you can remove that. No. If in case any grant type. No. When one question. For example, let's take like a restricted stock. We have given like for 2 employees. There is a restricted stock. It will show us one for RSUs, which is a restricted stock units. It's like 36. Right. For 36, the usage count refers to the head count for whom we have given RSUs. Right, correct. That's what I want to do. That's it. There is nothing else major. Apart from that, like if we talk about stock plans, right, like how the stocks can be vested, right? What are the schedules? There is a way by which we can maintain that, or we can update it as per the need. We have 2 reports, right? Usually I do like vesting ad of schedule report, which I usually download to understand the vesting dates for each of the stocks given for the employees. Here we have option of maintain stock vesting. Like for example, maintain stock vesting schedule, maintain employee stock vesting. If we talk about stock vesting schedule, you can see here, right? There are different types of schedules that is available. Like for example, 4-year quarterly. What's over 4 years? 25% after first year and 6.2% each quarter for the next 3 years. This is like backloading this thing. This is something, all the available options that we have. Most of some of them are manually created as well. If in case you want to create of your own, you can add plus. You can mention the schedule name. This is without a cliff, right? What if we wanted to give the vesting schedules with the cliff? For example, we give 48 months, which is 4 years plus a cliff option for most of the companies for retention value. For employee. For cliff means the employee's best thing gets entitled. Cliff is nothing. But the employee, after completing 2 years of their cliff period, anything that is vested between the 2 years accumulation right. The person is also staying with the company. He gets entitled for all. For example, if the employee is given a say like 10 VSOPs, 10 RSUs, let's keep it that way, with 4 years of vesting period of the 10 VSOPs. And it is like quarterly vesting kind of thing. And it's for 4 years, and say like the cliff was for 2 years. But the employee didn't stay for 2 years with us. Everything gets forfeited back to the company because he didn't pass the cliff period. But because we do this for our retention aspects, how we add cliff here in case of vesting schedule. Normally you can define the vesting schedule right. If in case anyone leaves the company before that, they will not have an option to vest right. Because for every stock plan, we create a criteria. That's what cliff is one such criteria, right? How we add such criteria is what my question. Normally you can create the vesting schedule. You can just name it. And the next one, I will show you like how normally we can, what are the different options that we have. This is the one of the way of creating the like how we want this stocks to be listed in different schedules. Mainly what your question was like, for example, anyone joining the company and after 2 years he is eligible to vest 50%, and after some time he is able to vest some percentage on every quarter, but the worker left the company in between. Right. Let me redefine my question in a much easier way. The employee is centered for 10 stock units. 10 as given for him. This is not a performance stock units. This is something by default as a part of their total compensation. We are offering during the time of it is not a sign on also. Let's keep it. It's part of their total compensation plan. The 10 are RSUs. We are keeping it with a retention value where 2 years of cliff out of the 4 years of listing period will be the one of the eligible one of the criteria. When an employee leaves within the period of 2 years, technically he will not be passing the cliff. All the 10, whatever has been given for the employee gets forfeited back to the company, right? If the employee leaves after 3 years of the company, whatever until the 3rd year, whatever is vested until his last listing schedule date, right? There for him because he passed the 2 years of cliff period. Say like he's leaving at 31st of December of when he joined, like say like the employee joined on 30th of September. In this person at the same date, 30th of September, he's leaving the company in 2024. You pass the cliff criteria 2 years. Now, anything that is getting forfeited, anything that is getting vested for him until the last listing schedule of the date, right? Until the last, if it is like quarterly vested or like monthly vested, it depends. Until the last vested schedule date on or before his last employee employment. Date will be the amount of stocks vested for him. Out of the 10, in the 2 years, let's say like 6 has been vested for him. Or let's say like 5 stocks vested for him. 5 stocks will be entitled for him to get exercised and monetized. Right? And the remaining 5 gets forfeit back. I'm asking how I'm going to add this eligibility criteria in the vesting schedule plans. Because usually any of the vesting schedules, most of the company do with the cliff criteria. If it is there are like 2 combinations. If an employee is under a private listed firm, right? In such cases, cliff is one of the option to retain the employee because the share value is like stupendous. For example, I worked in a private firm where per stock value being in a fintech was 7,000 euros. One stock. That is a private listed firm. Now I'm currently working in a public listed firm where it is like the stocks where we went on an IPO in 2017 itself. And now it's a public stock by default as a total compensation. The employee is entitled for a say like if they are, I showed you a table right on Friday. If the person, let's say like 1 or 5 is a total compensation for him 1 or 5,000 euros. In that 92 is his base salary. The remaining is by default. He is entitled for his position because that position is like a director above. And he gets somewhere around like 13,000 as their RSUs and VSOP is 50%. In such case, how you create a criteria? Like because in such case there is no for them. They have a direct investing of 4 years where quarterly, what? There is a exercising period and the quarterly exercised amount gets credited to his account as a cash value. In such case, how it gets? Because the employee here, if he's getting 13,000 value, 13,000 euros value of ISUs, right? The 30,000 value ISUs, it is divided into two platforms. One was a VSOP and was an RSU. Say like 6,000 find it for OPS and 6,000 find it for RSU. If the stock value is 7 euros per stock, every quarter, whatever the exercisable value on the date of the grant, say like it is 7 euros. After 3 months, it has gone like 10 euros. Whatever the exercised amount 7 minus 10, already the 3 euros worth of stocks will be given for the employee in a cash allowance manner. Because it's like it's an entitlement for the employee as a part of his total compensation. He's ought to get, you got my point. There are like two scenarios. In such cases, how I'm going to manage it using Workday. This is what I want. The second thing that you asked, right? Like wherein the amount get increased from 7 to her $10. That is a separate way. Mainly talking about that. That has been done mainly through the EIBs as of now. But in this quarter, like 2024 R2, they have introduced a new add-on feature that I'm yet to go through, where they have included the option of pricing. Right? But because we do that. But that is not there in the tenant. Do you have access to Workday community? Let me check. If you have access to Workday community from your company side, I can share you the link. Right? You can go through that. My Workday, like technically my company's Workday. Company, not I'm talking about this tenant work, the system that is separate Workday community that is available. My official thing. I'm not sure whether you have access to that or not. I have to check. I haven't checked it yet. You can check and you can let me know. We've been doing for a pricing option. Because in public listed, your stock prices will be evaluated every day. There is a but you are a stock person. You will know very well. Like your stocks in a public sector, once you go IPO, it is like it is no longer like the higher price value, how you can maintain it within the things. And every day, even in fact every hour, suddenly the stock price afternoon will be much higher or sometimes it will be low. It's like before and after hours of the stock. Usually the stocks are monitored between the afternoon ranges because until 11 o'clock will be yesterday. Stock price value. And after 12 of today afternoon, it will be today's stock price value. Even the gold commodities, everything is evaluated that way. In such cases, I have to do the option pricing every time. If not like everyday possibility, I have to do every quarterly because that is that. That is when we have a quarterly payout in cash for the amount the stock has fluctuated. You got my point. That is something I wanted to understand how I'm going to calibrate, because these are the things as a component manager I would be doing along with my finance team, and I have to be expert in that. And I cannot trust one need a finance team to do the entire job. See, normally in this scenario, what happens is specifically in the public listing, and integration is set up talking about the price changes that you mentioned, right? Like regarding 11 o'clock, there are different schedules that is maintained through integrations from third party, from where, and they will get other real-time data with respect to the stock. That's how it normally gets updated. Talking about the schedule, it's up to us like how we want to maintain the integrations. Whether you want the rates to be updated on a daily basis, when the stock market closes, or in case you want twice a day, some companies uses like as you mentioned, right, like normally during the payout time. But payout time, that is not something I have come across where the client has been maintaining. Talking about the maintain on a daily basis, like by end of the day, whenever the stock market closes, after some time the stock prices get sub-dated. That's how things are maintained. And this is not something that is internally available in the workplace side. That is something which is a part of integration by which those things are maintained. Talking about, if you talk about the stock prices and all that option we had only through EIB, like loading the data. Alright. But as I said, in 2024 R2, which will be in production, I think on September 21st is the date, right? September 21st, 2020, it will be available in production. That's the option where they have introduced to update the pricing directly to the Workday side. But again, the pricing option which we were doing just previously through EIB, that option they have introduced like what is the price as of now? What were the price? This is the price. At the moment, we want to change it manually, but mainly in the real time scenario, it cannot be done manually. For the automation purpose, things are maintained by integrations only. I get that. My question is like this. I am sorry, I can't. Can you share? Can I share my screen? Sure, because I'm just taking your. Say like your compensation, let's say like the person's current compensation is 1000, one or that is 1 or 5000 or 1 or 5000 euros. This is the math. I have given a simple calculation. Employee variables, let's not go there right now, but this, the 6500, 6500. I have given you the breakouts like this every quarter of the year, how much he will be paid, for example. Sorry, I don't want to give the companies. Let's say for this particular quarter until we are at Q3 now, already the 9 euros is a stock price. This is an estimated upwards movement. There can be a stock inclination declination based on the economical scenarios of the company. Now far, the number of leases issued for the company is here. I just wanted to understand. For example, every time there will be 73 leases, which is amounted for a 6500 will be credited to my account. Leases account. If that is the case, how you'll do? How I wanted to maintain this in a very efficient manner using Workday, where I can do a very periodical reporting. My question is, it is not like I want it by end of the day, right, me or my team. If I walk into my management board desk, if I'm having a HACEC compensation committee meeting, I need to give them a dashboard report, says like this, what it is we have vested. There are like this money. There were like 73 of resource vested for this particular employees, or this is for one person, but I wanted to represent it for all the 10,000 plus employees in one go. One thing I want to understand here in the first third column, that I can see a third row, that I can see stock price, right? You have mentioned the quarterly rates. Talking about, this was the rate at which the stocks were vested, is it? Yes, this were the rates at which the stock will be vested, will be. How you are determining the future prices based on some. That's where my question comes, how you determine you're using Workday, because we have this calculation done, plus 1. Let's take to the actual column where it was taken. Just a minute, we are just taking a quarterly growth rate. Like the current price of the stock, let's say 70.41 cents. The option price, that is percentage of a stock price, is 33 at a 33% of the option price rate. We are estimating an annual growth rate of 50% based on our company's balance score. Let's keep that. That's how it is the growth rate is calculated. Out of the 50, we are calculating the quarterly growth rate. This is something with quarterly. With this quarterly growth rate, we are estimating quarterly this, that is, let's say the first quarter, which is the company stock actual price at a quarter. One is this in the month of Jan. Keeping that in mind, it is like multiplied by the quarterly growth rate. This is like a very nominal growth range. I just wanted to. Every month, for example, 73 is like based on my, I guess like 6. This is based on the salary. Divided by 12 is what gives the 73. There's nothing but which you divided by 12, that is per month, correct? Yes, the 6 is 70 cent. This is the total SU issued dot divided by 12. This and about 8877, I guess. Like if I multiply 73 by 2 and it comes around 876, but it says 877. Just a minute. I'm just going back to the columns to read it. It's 65 old, right? SU is out of the 13,6500 is mine. Is Viz mine. Let's say this 6500 and the 6500. You are further multiplying by the quarterly rate of 731, 741, you get 87, 877. Just multiply 6500 divided by 741. How much you're getting? And you have to round it down 6,000. It's 8.7, which is 877 is to be issued, right? Let's say this 877 is URA for year 1. You give me it for 77 3. This is like resource based on your total compensation value, which is 6y divided by the actual rate. for this particular year, 1 until your next compensation change happens, right? For the next of the 3 years until your promotionary aspect, yours will be still 8077 monthly, right? You need to ultimately ensure that you get 773 for each of the quarters and 73 rusus worth value should be paid out for you. If that is the case, let's say like C7, which is 73 divided by C3, which is the actual quarterly rate. That's what you get paid out every quarter. Got? Understand. This is for one person, you understand. Like if I'm going to the pain, is like if I'm going through one Excel for one employee. It's taking this much of time, and this is what my team is facing right now. I don't want. I am dealing with 10,000 headcount of employees for one particular region, which is close to 3 countries. For firm itself, it will be like 2,000 plus employees. I am going to handle for 27 countries. Such way, if I am wanting to pull out the report, it is going to be such a tedious task in Workday, and I want it to be like IA, because if I pull it in ShareWorks, right, which is our third-party tool to maintain all the stock plans. I have a vesting ad hoc schedule reports, and also there are like multiple reports like stock expiration report and ease of expiry value or ease of expiry value. And I also understand like how I can and pull out the available stock pool. To plan for next stock option cycle for next Jan 2025. Right now, I need to analyze how many stock options are available and how much we need to get back in such case. How we do is what my problem. The Excel that you're sharing with me. Right? There is no such feasibility in configurational aspect and Workday, but you have one option which is through the reporting side. I want to find reporting at least because I just wanted to see when I'm going like my quarterly dashboard with my quarterly dashboard. If I sit with my management board, they are only worried about the charts and the numbers. More than the charts, they will ask for my accuracy of numbers. For example, for one employee, 73 SS I'm giving for 1 month, sorry for 1 quarter, right? For likewise, based on various other scenarios of base salary of 10,000 employees. Let's say like in a quarter we have given literally like 10,000 resources for all these employees of worth 5,000 employees of headcount, and we are given 10,000 resources for them. For that, I wanted to give back out of the 10,000 resources, how many are available? Resources for the upcoming year plan. In case there is a shortage of resources, right? If there is a shortage of shares or stock values, we need to understand like how much we can expand in terms of investment plan for the companies. Or if you want to probe to the investors or our supervisory board, it's me who is going to tell them the calculation along with the finance team. This is all. This is all linked to the compensation, and finance team will be taking care of the overall finance value, not just the expenses. Not just compensation expenses will be part of the financial plan. There will be non-compensation expenses, but I am the person who is going to give them the compensation expense plan and give them a forecast for bonus pool or forecast for compensation pools. I got it. I need such a complexity. I wanted to reduce such complexity in the simplest form in Workday. See this, complexities can be mitigated and you can get the reports right. Let me brief a scenario. This is a matrix report. Let me see for you the one that you're mentioning. It's more of an advanced report or a composite report will come into picture. Let me see if there is any. Once the configuration aspect of the advanced compensation is done, any advanced reporting consultant, what they are going to do is this is more of a standard actually this system. There is no such data that is available. But mainly talking about your scenario, let me see. See, this is one of the stock plans. Two scenarios here. I need to understand how many share pools we have given, how many shares we have given for the employees, and what are the share numbers given for the employees. See, each per stock or per stock unit will have a particular share number. Say like for if you are my employer, I'm giving like 5 stocks for you, 5 russes for this particular Q1 of the quarter when you're entitled for 5 stocks every quarter. Let's say for a 20, like you are entitled 20 russes in an annual. 5 will be given every time based on the stock, a stock increase. That is the first month, the first date of that particular quarter, whatever the stock value, if it is 8 euros or 7 euros, that particular stock price will be entitled to the particular quarter of 5 russes. If that is the plan, and now I am going to give like for 5 stock units. Say like this series of stocks, like series 1 till series 5 is given for you in the quarter 1 and again for the next quarter. Series 15 till series 16 till series 20, it need not be in a chain angle, like it will not be in a chain series of numbers. It is going to be a series of number only for the 5 stock units. For me, I wanted to identify, say like I'm having 10,000 employees, how many stocks have been issued, how many leases have been issued for each of the employees based on their base value. And also what are the series of stock series numbers, that is the share numbers available given for those employees, and how many share pool is remaining, and how many share pool numbers are remaining, how many series numbers are remaining. Because why I am particular about the series number of the shares is I should not give the same series numbers to 2 employees. You got my point. These are the things. I need 4 columns in a report. What are the shares are allocated? What are the share series numbers allocated? How many shares are available? And how many series numbers are available? Simple. See, what I was trying to tell you is, see, this is a reporting related requirement. Depending upon your need, the reports are supposed to be created. Yes, I will brief you in a simple way, like how these reports are created. Because I would like to know how to create such customer. But see, this is something which you will not be doing. I can just brief you like how exactly these things are carried out. As you're mentioning, right. Like this, the Excel that you shared me, right. That has the information of one worker. Whereas, similar way you want an info for multiple workers. This is how reports are created. This is one of the advanced reports that I'm briefing you. I have just given a random name. I'm considering this for all the robotic purpose with respect to the HCMN side, wherein we will have details about all active workers. For example, whatever worker related information you want to get populated. Like for example, the first column that I have added with business object worker. Business object worker states like with respect to worker. What are information I want? I should mention that in the field. Like for example, stock. like for example, total stock amount guaranteed. Percent of stock amount invested. Total number of stock options wasted. Like this, there will be multiple different fields. And the one that you mentioned with respect to quarterly, where you have highlighted like it, there is an increase of certain percentage, right? For that, there is a cal fields that is created, wherein we have to define the stock price amount. And after that, with what increase it is happening. Those are the fields which are not automatically available. For that, what we normally do is we create calculated fields. There are different calculated fields that is available, right? Like for example, in your scenario, if I talk about, if there is like in your scenario, there is a specific calculation, right? We can go with the arithmetic calculation or different calculation, whatever will come into picture depending upon the percentages that we are doing, right? And likewise, we will create number of calculated fields, which we will bring in this report. Likewise, you will have all the options that you wish to have. And talking about some of the options that you mentioned, let's take an example of if, in case you want to get as of today's rate with respect to like the rates are changing, right? With respect to the stock is listed in the public, right? If, in case you want to have the real rate as well for that specific stock option, in this scenario, the field that I will be creating here, that will be linked with the integration from where the data will be popping. That's how the entire report will be created. Whatever like payroll related linkages that they will be created. Similarly, there is a reporting consultant, like whatever reports that you're briefing me right now, right? It be creating the report in the similar way that I'm showing you there is. This is one of the matrix. Well, there was one matrix report that was open. But in the given your scenario, matrix report will not work either. It will be done via advanced report or a composite report. If in case you want to compare the data with two different items, right? If in case, let's take an example, you want to compare with the two items. In this advanced report scenario, it is not possible. In that scenario, you will go with the composite one. How did that? It's a pretty much same way, the way I'm briefing you here in terms of instead of a custom report you create. No, you will go with custom report means the reports which are not automatically available from Workday side, and you do it based on your needs. Depending upon our own requirement, we create those reports. Those are nothing but custom reports. And in that particular report, the advanced, right? In that particular report, there is an advanced report possible. We can create an advanced report using the create custom report option. There are, let me briefly, can you just take me to that advanced tab? That can be helpful. I would like to know what is available in that. There are different types of reports that is available. First of all, you can see here there is a simple advanced report, right? That's a brief. Composite report. Composite report is mainly used for when you want to compare two items. Let's take an example for last year's stock option that was given with respect to this year. I wanted to. Currently, my scenario is this year. For 2024, we have given the stock options. For 2025, I wanted to have a forecast for 2025. The scenario is, let's say like this year, I have given 25,000 RSUs and V stocks, which is quarterly paid for the 10,000 or for 5,000 employees. Right. Let's say 25,000 of stock units has been released and 25,000 worth share. Share number series for each of the stocks are also occupied. I am going to have a forecast to understand this year. It took 20,000 from quarter 1 to 2 or quarter 4. How much will be required for 2005? Quarter 1 to 4 is what I have to forecast now. That depends on the future forecast value of my share pool. Just like, let's say the annual growth rate was 50%. The 2025, I have to put in a realistic proposal of growth rate. Let's keep like 60% with the 10% of annual growth rate hike from 2024 to 2025. And let's say the quarterly grade growth rate is somewhere around like 12% for next annual. From next annual onwards. With the 60% of annual growth rate and 12% of quarterly growth rate, let's say like the forecast of the future is like share for Q1 2025. Let's say like 16 euros right now. In such case, I need to forecast how much share pools I need to keep it in my kitty for 2025. There are like multiple scenarios. I first need to understand what would be my bifurcation of headcount. Right? We need to have a forecast of headcount, and based on the forecast of headcount, which I get it from the finance team, I will be planning how much I need as a total compensation for variables and also for the total compensation value for stocks. That will help me determine how much stock units I need to keep it ready in my kitty. I don't go impoverished at the mid of the cycle. I cannot underestimate. I always need to estimate it. There is no particular number. There is no definite number for forecast, right? It can be any number, but it has to be an adequate number. I'm going to do using this report. If I wanted to estimate, as I mentioned, right, you have to use the option of a composite report, right? With respect to this, what happens is you will get various options, right, for comparison. But again, there is a limit, right? Because you are referring in about the futuristic data. In futuristic or futuristic planning, what happens is, but the other part is, you already have estimated growth percentage that you are considering, right? Depending upon those exact percentage, this reports can be created. How do you do that? How do you do that here? But see, as I told you, right, I am not a reporting expert. But I can only just brief you how things are done or in what side, because mainly I work on the advanced report. Alright, this composite reports is related to financial aspects. That comes into picture, right? The reporting is, as I said, right, it's a completely separate model. Alright, that is, but I can brief you like how things. Let me see if there is any composite report that I have here. But talking about this is something which you should not get into. The reason being, you have to know your requirement, right? Once you convey the requirement to the reporting consultant, they will create your report. But again, the prerequisite that comes into a picture is, as I said, you're right talking about whatever the data that is available in the past that can be populated. And talking about the future of futuristic data or the upcoming year data, there should be some percentages that will come into picture. With respect to that only, it will be done. Again, if you will be sure, I want to make changes to the reporting person, right? There is no Workday reporting person in my team. It is a, and it's technically. Let me brief you my company's role. They never want a day. Wanted to take 5%, 5 people enabled team into 3 people enabled team. Technically for compensation, the forecast, the back year, everything and the current scenario, your past, present and future of home will be taken care by me, and anything on the future and past, a present and future of finance is calibrated by my financial person. And the person who is maintaining the stocks is legal team because of any of the stock values, entitlement and amendment of the reports right. All such amendments and all is being done legally using the legal team. And I will be telling like how much you can give and what are the rateable amount of stock plans we can give based on the market scenarios. That is my role. But a finance will give me the realistic number. Like, hey, this is the 10 euros of budget. You need to do your compensation plan. Whatever you're planning for the company, ensure that you are doing within the budget. If you don't have the budget, tell me like how many stock units you need to have for 2025. Based on your numbers, I need to establish my investment. The finance will say like, hey guys, I am having only 50 crores. 50? Say like I'm having 3 millions available as a bonus pool budget or of like a stock budget for next year. How much you will be actually needing? I need to establish my investment purpose. I need to revisit my investment options. That is where the finance team asks. I have to be in a position to tell them like, hey, we have like 1000 now, but we might need another 1000 for next year or another 2000. Let's have a 2000 as a buffer for next year. And you ensure that you have a cash and share pools available for the 2000 because I will be needing the 2000 to be utilized for 2025. That number, right? That number will be given by me. How I do it using my Workday as a report because we don't have a reporting person. It is all me and it is all the finance team. I will check for I am 100% sure that there is no such automated or Workday delivered report that is available. No problem at all. I can do one thing. I can check like with respect to stock plans, what are the Workday delivered report and I can brief you about that. But talking about the second option, this reporting is something which is a one time. I know that in your internal team, there is only 5 members. You do not have any external member or any member who is well versed and Keshav reporting. But there will be some third party company, right? From where you'll be getting some support because you will not be doing each and everything from your end. Correct? If I'm not wrong. The only third party I will do is only for the Saturday reports. For those. We don't do it for stock pricing. We have delayed. Will be giving us the stock evaluation prices. Like they will be doing this black show methodologies and everything. Or we can have Bank of America, who are our third party members, who will financially, especially the Deloitte, who is my third party member. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking from the Workday support side. There would be some. And talking about this entire configuration for advanced competition you are going to do internally. You're telling like there will be a 24 pass event. The Workday person community team will be helping us for any such advancements. No, we have only a support agent. If anything goes faulty in my Workday, we can have them as a supporting team to revisit and check that error. That's what we have it as a supporting. But one thing that I'm not able to understand here, right? Like talking about this, you mentioned like as the current scenario only you have the core compensation part in your company, right? You do not have the advanced competition building. We are yet to do that. We are on the phase of doing that, advanced one. Who is going to do that? You people internally are going to do that. No, 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 no. We have our integration team of Workday who will be doing that for us. During that time, you wanted me to do all these reports. At that point of time, we have to request these reports that I would need these reports as well. You have to mention them clearly. I want this. Normally, you can call them as audit report, right? Or some whatever name you want to give them. I need these quarterly audit reports. Correct? I need to give it for my financial reporting team. End of the year. All the quarters I need to be giving them. Normally what happens is at that point of time, you have to request these reports as well. Like you would need these reports. There might be a scenario in one report. All the things might not be possible. Like for example, if you have multiple scenarios, right? And when you're talking about hundreds and thousands of employees, right, in one report, it might be clumsy for you to review the items, right? Talking about the quarterly, what you can do in one report. And if in case you are referring about any other budgeting purpose or any select for that you can have, there will be too few reports that you have to create which you can review on a quarterly basis or an yearly basis depending upon your requirement. You might have time. Only you have to request these reports. Like you would need these reports. During the time of integration itself, you wanted me to do the customization part also very relevantly. What will be requirement based on my company scenarios? Correct? You should have all the like. You have already done most of the job. Like you know exactly now, like what are the reports that you need that you can avoid the manual job that is being done by your team. Right. Which is I was thinking like I will be able to do the reports all by myself. There will not be any Workday team because I have not worked big time with the Workday team. I just joined a couple of months with this company as well. I'm still in my era of learning phase. Because I'm just getting more conscious about what are the compensation thing. I haven't got into the reporting part yet, but I see what my when I had a one-on-ones with my teams, right? My team members, they generally said like these were my hiccup points. I thought like where I can do that. And I was thinking like they majorly had an issue with having preparing a report from Workday. I thought why don't I learn it? I can just try to implement or give them the same ideas for them to get shot with that. Talking about this reporting aspect, like which you want to have. I can brief you different reports there, but that is not going to be something of your help because until or unless you have your system ready, right? Because I will brief you something which might not work at that point of time, right? Once the configuration aspect is done, after that all the relevant reports are created in the system. And after that you will test whatever the report's outcome will come and you can compare whether you are getting the right results or not. That's how mainly things happen with respect to reporting aspect. Because as I said, like there are some Workday delivered report with respect to advanced compensation and stock options that I can check and that I can let you know. But talking about Workday delivered reports, they are very limited. The reason being because of the limitations is because every client have the respective requirement with respect when it comes to auditing purpose or reporting purpose. They have an option like as Workday gives, like you can create your own custom reports. But as I said, I will try and I will look into and I will try to give you more insights. Maybe in the next session, Like, what are the Workday delivered reports? That can be amazing. That can be really possible. The way there are reports that you are seeing, I will look into my system in case there are any available reports. I will try to share the definition of those reports, like how those reports can be done, that you can use as a reference. And also with the stock plans, is that the session in and we are in? No, they have not yet started on the stock plans. Right. I've just briefed you about a few things like in the stock options, like how things are created, that we'll discuss in the next session. Absolutely. Let's do that as a scenario. That's an idea. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.